Hey, we're live. Welcome back. Welcome to the Focus Show. What you focus on expands. And this is episode number 30. With me, three amazing experts from different parts of the globe who are going to share some positive strategies. So this show is all about sharing the positive because we hear enough negative on the media, especially in regards to the recent crisis development. And let's start with introducing each other. What about you, Michael? Can you briefly tell us where you're from and what it is that you do, please?
Sure. Thank you so much, and thanks for joining. My name is Michael de Vihil, and I am a psychologist by trade, executive coach, and a global leadership development professional. I am here in New York City. That is where I am claiming my home, at least for now, in the epicenter, so to speak. And I'm glad to be here this morning. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. New York. All right. Good.
New York.
Yes. Then we have on the bottom left corner, Farah. Can you tell us where you're from and what you do, please?
Hello, everyone. My name is Farah Radwan. I am joining in today from Saudi Arabia, where I'm based, originally from Jordan. And I am a coach and an educator. I enjoy being part of people's journeys, so my focus is on transitional coaching.
Okay. Farah Radwan, am I pronouncing this right?
Correctly.
From Saudi Arabia right now. All right, thank you. And what are you going to share with us today, Farah? Just a quick teaser.
Redefinition of some words or terminology in everyday life.
Redefinition. All right, thank you.
Sure.
And then we have Joe, Helena. Can you pronounce that for me? Conrad, is that okay?
Conrad, that's correct, yes.
All right, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please, Joe?
Sure, as you said, I'm Joe Helena. I live in Zurich and I've changed my whole life last year after I've realized that work-life balance is not working for me. And I figured out it's an illusion. What I'm going to share with you is why is it an illusion and what can you do to find new balance in life?
The work-life balance illusion. And where are you from originally, Joe?
South Korea.
South Korea.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, thank you. Let's welcome two of our audience who joined in. Hello, Marlis. Hello, Christelle. And again, please ask any questions to any of us that are on the call. Be happy to answer them as best we can. All right, so who would like to begin with, let's start with Michael from New York, the epicenter. Clinical psychology.
At least that's what they were calling it. Yeah, I think, my own life story, like a lot of us, is informing my current story. And I alluded to a moment ago, as a child, I did go through a lot of trauma. I'm not going to get into the backstory of that one. But these days from that, I'm using my own experience of essentially rewiring our brains. We all know about brain plasticity, right? And the two steps I want to reference really are from research in cognitive behavioral therapy, where we can challenge what we're thinking. I'm really looking into history these days, and there was an ancient Greek philosopher, Epictetus, who said that we are not so much disturbed by events around us, but by the interpretations we make of the events. That's what bothers us the most.
Okay,
so
for us, terminology as well, redefinition.
Redefinition, yes, defining how we're thinking, since, at least in my work, our thoughts really lead to all sorts of feelings, and those feelings then we can engage into some unhealthy behaviors.
Yes.
So it really begins with our thoughts.
Okay, good. Please proceed. Thoughts, feelings, and neuroplasticity.
Thoughts, feelings, and behaviors.
How does it
So
all
really that is sort of like the triangle, right? We have our thoughts that lead to feeling bad. If I am thinking with this virus or in general, things like this is the worst thing in the world, or oh my God, I can't stand this. Certainly those thoughts are going to make me feel badly. And based on those feelings, I engage in acting out, eating a bunch of chocolate all day long, not getting off the couch, whatever those actions are. So I really need to go back to the starting point, my mind. And so there's two ways to always dispute our thoughts. And one of them is called the empirical disputation, where we get to ask ourselves, is it true, this thought? Is it really true empirically that this is the worst thing in the world? Of course, I would end up answering no to that. I have certainly gone through worse myself. And if I look around the globe, other people are suffering much more than I am. So this really is not true, this thought. The second disputation is called the pragmatic disputation. It's where I just say, is this thought helping me or hurting me? Is this thought kind, so to speak? So empirical disputation, pragmatic disputation really helps me change my thoughts. And if I'm thinking this is not the worst thing in the world, I've really gone through worse, I might not feel quite as bad. I might feel a little bit more confident in control. And if I'm feeling that way, I'm certainly not going to be eating a pint of ice cream all day to soothe those feelings. I might be more... Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say,
go ahead.
with those feelings of feeling a bit more confident, a little bit more empowered, I might have healthier behaviors. I might take this online yoga class. I might decide to go and take a bike ride. And after those behaviors, now this is informing the healthier thought. I'm in a healthier loop, so to speak, versus the unhealthy cycle.
Okay, so let me put a couple of those questions that you asked on the screen. I really love those questions. So is this really the true? Was one, right?
Yes. Is it true what you're thinking? Empirically true. A lot of thoughts sound true, but I'm talking about stepping back and really objectively evaluating, is this statement actually true that this is the worst thing in the world right now for you?
Or is it just an assumption that we're making?
That's right. Or is it just familiar and it sounds like truth, which is an illusion, but it's not really empirically true?
Okay, good. Very good question. What's the other one?
So the second was the pragmatic disputation, which is more like, is this helping me or hurting me? In terms of my stress, is this increasing my stress level or is this calming me down? Another way of the same question, is this kind? A lot of people will use that one. Is this a kind thought or not so kind?
Okay, very good. Yes. Let's tune in with our audience a little bit. What do you think about those two questions? Just type them in the comments. What do you think about them? Or do you have any other questions that you can ask yourself in this situation? We have Katie here. She says, hello, speakers, and Marlis and Christelle. And we have Marlis saying balance is great, and she wants to hear more. Christelle says hello. So whoever's watching, can you please also dial in and write where you're dialing in from? And yeah, probably what the time is there right now. That would be great. Yes, so pragmatical disputation and empirical, you call it?
Yes.
Okay, those are...
As if you're looking for empirical evidence, the empirical disputation, right?
Right, okay. Very good. All right, please continue, Michael.
So, you know, being able to essentially think about your thinking is what I'm referencing, right? It is something we often don't do. And right now, during this time of change or uncertainty or people living in fear, they're often not even aware of what they are thinking. So asking yourself these questions about your own thoughts is in and of itself a new skill for many people, to just take some step back and really evaluate what's going on in your head. What is the story you're telling yourself in your head? Is it true? Is it kind? And if not, how can you change that to reinvent a new thought, a new story that has a bit more truth to it or a little bit more kindness attached to it?
More truth or kindness. That's nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything you would like to add to that? So add questions, Farah and Joe?
Oh, sorry, what's that to me?
Yeah, anything you would like to add or ask about this strategy that Michael just shared with us?
It's interesting because I just had this thought today coming up. Say it was René Descartes he came up with this quote, "I think, therefore I am." And it wasn't sitting right with me. And I was wondering, why is it not sitting right with me? And the conclusion I came up with is it's not finished there, because it should continue with, "I feel, therefore I know." What I think is what we do not enough these days is ask ourselves, what is the feeling I have behind the thought? Because that's the initial spark in you that comes to your mind at some point. So I would ask people, don't ask yourself why you have the thought, ask yourself why you feel it, and that causes the thought.
Yeah.
It is. I do agree. We have to think about behavioral patterns, but everything has a source, and the source usually is a feeling that is then connected with an experience in life and creates an emotion, and the emotion kicks on the thought, and in that sense.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much. That's very interesting. Actually, brain research that I just came across recently that shows that anything without an emotion is totally unimportant for our brain. So it gets
Because
kind of like
energy in motion. So something that has not an emotion has no energy behind it, so it cannot flow, right? So you stop it right there, basically.
Yeah, and it shows up typically when someone talks to you and you completely phase out, and you're after a couple of minutes like, what the hell was he or she talking about? I don't remember anything. So it didn't touch you at all.
No, it triggered you. Nothing. There was no trigger for you, so that's why you just disengaged.
Yeah, exactly. The brain is like, this is not important. Shut up. Save some energy. All right. Yeah. Thank you for that. So you said, "I think because I am" was the initial sentence.
Yeah, and I'm carrying on with, "I feel, therefore I know."
Okay, I love that. I'm going to put that on the screen. I think because I am, and I feel, therefore I know.
I think, therefore I am.
Oh,
I feel, therefore I know.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right. Anything you would like to ask? Audience, Chriselle says the interpretation of the events is key. Love that. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And Katie says there's always a first thought and then a feeling. Completely agree with that. Oh, we're all in alliance today. Very good. Alignment. I feel, therefore I know. So good for me to hear. Okay, good. Yes, Melis, thank you. All right. All right. So, Joe, is there anything else you would like to share with us today?
Not in this connection right now.
Not in this connection. Okay. Are you done, by the way, Michael? Sorry, I didn't even ask. With what you want
to wrap up, I think we are all saying the same thing. It is often the case that people first don't know what they are thinking. They really know how they're feeling. So oftentimes we have to back into, based on how you're feeling, what is the story you're telling yourself in your head? And then we can open up into some of those thoughts. So it really is a both and relationship for sure.
What's the story behind it? Yes, exactly. So as coaches, we often hear this a lot. I mean, all of you are coaches or consultants or teachers in some form. And we often hear a lot of stories from the client.
Yes.
Shows up in
people often don't know how to create a new story. For 10 years in my work with Mount Sinai and the Obesity Research Center, there are these people I work with who have a very clear past story. It's very formulated, this story about themselves, and it's usually not a good one. So I am helping them create a new story, which can be very awkward and very unusual, and people don't believe it. And it's okay. The brain doesn't know if you believe it or not, but the brain knows there's a new thought there.
Yeah, and it's also good to know that you're not your story. People think they are their story. You're not.
That's right.
It's just a story. Good, very good. Thank you. Are there any questions to Michael, clinical psychologist from New York? We have a lot of experts here today. Katie said everything is a story, so nothing really is true. Okay. Okay, good.
I don't know about that. I would say that there are some truths, and typically we make that truth, right? Yes, everything is a story that we're telling ourselves in our heads. I think when we look at those thoughts of whatever that story is, then we can evaluate it. Is that story true, empirically true, or is it just familiar? Is it just comfort zone? And if it's not helping you, that version of truth, how can you create a different story, perhaps a new truth?
Kind of goes back to the theme of the show. What you focus on expands.
That's right.
Make it your reality. Make the good and the positive your reality, because when you focus on it, that's what you're going to bring into your life. 100%. So interesting how this always goes back to what you're focusing on. Very interesting. Thank you very much, Michael.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And Joe, are you done with what you wanted to share, or is there anything else?
You mean to my topic, or?
Yes.
I've got lots more. How much time do I get? So basically, work-life balance, why is it an illusion? So I work in the big banks in Zurich, and there was always these funny trends going on when the market went down or some other issues happened, just something big that, affected the economy and the industries. And then people overwork, and at some point HR comes in and says, oh, we have not this new initiative, work-life balance. We need to, make sure that our staff is more balanced so they are more productive. And obviously it was bound to a KPI, and it was on, management dashboards, but basically no one looked at those numbers. Let's be honest, no one looks at it. KPI dashboard, it's so boring. And usually you don't understand where the figures come from. But I was like, okay, if the company is so interested in his staff to have a work-life balance, why do we have to get to the point that we seek work-life balance? Why do I have, as a staff employee, to be pushed to my limits, to a point where I can't work anymore as I'm used to, and start doubting myself, start losing self-confidence, start doubting everything at some point around me, because I take this home to my family, and the frustrations going on there, right? So at one day,
how did you pull yourself out of this, Joe?
So basically what happened is, we call that the tower moment in life. Basically everything is taken away from you. You focused on, and it was wrong for you. So basically I had to quit my job because of my health. I separated from my partner of 13 years. I had 2 boys on my own, and there was nothing in front of me. But the beautiful
ground zero.
Exactly. Okay. But the beautiful thing is, because there was nothing left, I had everything out there again. So with a clean slate, it's actually cool because you can start new. And the start is within yourself. So my imbalance was basically that my heart's desire was so far away from what I did for my living, or my whole life was so far away from my heart's desire. But because I was telling myself to be worth, I need to comply with the standards from other people, meaning family, meaning partner, meaning company, meaning friends.
Okay, yes. So how many of you watching, so let's start on with our audience, have ever done this, felt the need to comply with everybody else, the partner, the kids, the work, the dogs, the household? How many of you ever did this? Can you type me in the comments if you ever felt that way? So let's see if we're not alone, because I certainly have felt that way many times. What about you, Farah?
Yeah, absolutely. There is a lot of new beginning that I had to restart, and new places I had to, whether I traveled or start a new career, a new position, but also I think it's brave to bring that awareness, to bring the awareness that something is imbalanced right now.
Yeah, the first step is always awareness. Very good. Thank you. Christelle says me. That's good. Okay. Harry says me. Yes, 100%. I think everybody who says I never felt that way, like I had to comply, is a little bit maybe not totally honest, because that's basic human nature. We feel like we want to comply.
Or was always very honest with themselves, right? I've met people in my life from childhood. They knew who they were, they knew what they wanted, and they were just honest with themselves. And that was the next step. Be honest with yourself. You can tell yourself so many stories. How many times I can't leave this partner, I don't have the money, my kids need a father. You find these excuses, right? And you spend so much energy on all these excuses that you don't have the energy anymore to be honest with yourself, right?
Yeah.
So,
Very good. Don't waste time on excuses and energy.
so basically, you give from an empty cup. You are empty, and the little thing that comes back is spilled again so quickly. So you keep giving from an empty cup, and that just can go very good for very long, right?
Right.
I mean, try to drive an empty car, right? It's not going to go far. So basically, honesty with yourself. Be honest why you keep still finding these excuses, so you do not change anything. You cannot. You give yourself this justification of why you're not able to change. Start finding justification why you are able to change. Right? It's again how you feed your brain about.
Ties in nicely with what Michael said in the beginning as well.
Exactly. But then as well, it's very confusing sometimes to realize, is this thought now healthy or not? And that's why I'm saying, go down to your gut feeling, because that's never wrong, right? If something is feeling wrong in your gut, the mind can still say, It's okay, because this is all I know." So another word I love saying is think less, feel more, right? It's going the same direction. Before you don't know what you feel, you don't know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, you're basically chasing a ghost, right?
Yes.
So
yes. Okay.
finding the balance in yourself, basically, with being honest, right? Stop finding justification of why change is not happening. Find justification of why change has to happen and can happen, and then feel it.
Right. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Very nice summary. Thank you, Joe. Any questions to Joe? Please put them in the comments. We need to move to our last speaker of today, Farah. Farah, what did you bring to this topic here, to this show? To what topic would you like to share with us?
Yes, redefinitions, and I think it's a nice continuation from the previous speakers here, which brought very interesting, techniques. So basically, I found myself acting differently or thinking differently about things that used to stress me out, like reacting to certain stressors. And my conclusion was because there was some sort of shift in my mind that redefined that stressor. So just to give you an example, before pandemic, for example, the term plan, I'm a planner. I've always liked to see what's coming ahead. And so for me, planning the months ahead, even the year ahead, would be something that I will have to do, but I also feel anxious if I didn't do. So with the pandemic, planning took a different meaning altogether. So if my definition for a plan was something unchangeable, detailed, like if it was an unchangeable, detailed map of future event, my definition now has changed tremendously. It is mostly changeable, and it's not as detailed. It's more of guidelines, of what it could possibly look like. this is what but also it's not only the definition that you can benefit from during pandemic. Also you can bring new awareness to this definition that suits you
Right.
into life after pandemic.
Moving forward. Yes, very good.
Exactly. So, and it's different from me because somebody else's definition of a plan may already have been, it's changeable, not detailed, it's merely a guideline, so it's different for different people. So for me, redefining stressors in my life have helped tremendously during this time and hopefully afterwards. So what I like to start with is identifying my stressors and reflect on the current definition. So write that definition that I already have before the pandemic, before the mind shift, what that was, and then redefine it, and then redefine it based on the new awareness, and then apply.
Right.
Now,
so basically, let me time out. So by stressor, you mean anything that's putting you under stress.
Right.
So
that's for me.
What is putting me under stress right now? Is it the circumstances? Is it a certain person? Is it the environment? Or is that what you mean?
No, what I mean, what normally, so it's not, I think what I'm trying to say is the pandemic has changed my mind towards certain stressors, made me redefine certain stressors. So an agenda, for example, is a stressor for me, because I want to finish everything on the agenda. So that the previous definition was everything that I can do today, all the tasks that I can do today. With the pandemic and reflecting, now it's the most important things that I need to do today.
Okay.
I'm just lucky if I could do it. Before it was everything I can do today and maybe 3 or 4 tasks from tomorrow's agenda.
Right.
So it just makes you find, and in a way it's finding that balance again that Joe was talking about earlier, but in a new definition.
Very good. Okay. So first of all, identify the stressors and then reflect on your definition. Why is this even a stressor for you? Secondly, what was the second thing?
Redefine.
Redefine. Redefine.
And then apply.
And then apply it. Love it. Any comments from our audience? Nicole says, my experience with planning is it makes you actually more flexible because you are more efficient and focused. Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing this. Redefine the word. Nice.
And again, this is personal. So everybody can work with it based on what they need. Maybe they need to define other things, redefine other things, not their stressors, maybe their perspective towards certain things. So you can use that based on your personal experience and in the way that makes you move forward.
Very good. All right. Is there anything you would like to add to this, Michael or Joe, or anybody from our audience?
The thing I would add is realizing that we are saying so many things that are, at least I'm hearing, are similar and are very aligned, and to help others also find that part in themselves that can connect with what we're talking about right now, and start somewhere, start small, and being able to focus on what we can control versus all the stuff that is completely outside of our area of control. That's what I'm hearing a lot of.
Yes. Yes, very true. There's a famous quote saying that the Lord give me the strength to, how did I go?
The Serenity prayer, to accept those things that we can control and to really let go of all of those things that are outside of our control. And right now, there are numerous things outside of our control. We're concerned about them, but we can't control them.
Right. And focusing and talking about it, it's not going to help. Yes. Give me the strength to change what I can and to kind of like let go of what I can't.
And know the difference between the two.
And know the difference. Yes, exactly. That's very, very true. And realize that there is a difference. Yes.
Right.
Thank you. All right. So anything else or any questions, please put them in the chat, in the comments. And let's wrap up with a word for the week. What's your word for the week? We'll have a bunch of positive words going across the screen here. Anybody would like to go first, or anybody from our audience? Word of the week.
I think I have something that would tie in nicely now with what Michael said, is surrender to the unknown.
Okay, Joe says surrender.
To the unknown.
Surrender. 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 Also, surrender is oftentimes in terms of surrender to what's past, or surrender to what's happening, or surrender to what you learned as being true, like what Michael said. Your story could be changed, could be rearranged, could be redefined. Very good. All right. Anything else? What's your word of the week? The intention of the week, Michael.
The intention of the week is really going inward in this cocooning state we're all in, to truly get to know your authentic, real self.
So what would it be? One word. Authenticity? Or inward?
I don't know if you can capture it in one word. Authenticity, reflecting, reflection.
Reflection. Very good. What about you, Farah?
I liked really one reminder from Mike's technique, and which is being kind to yourself. So I guess my word would be kindness.
Kindness. Love that.
We need much more in the world right now.
100%. Yes. Yes.
Compassion.
Compassion. Yes. Compassion.
Gratitude is another one. I've been focusing on gratitude for what we already do have.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
important, yes.
We'll get more of that. So my word would be universe. So interesting how we're all connected. We're all one. And we're all kind of like aligned, and we're all moving in the same flow. And right now you can feel this, especially I think in times of crisis, where we come together as a team, support each other and help each other, and be even more connected than when we're physically connected, because we were rushing through life before.
That's right.
Very nice. All right. Katie says, thank you. And Christelle says, be aligned with yourself. All right, let's put that on screen. Alignment. Yes. Alignment.
These conversations really help kind of normalize the whole topic for so many people around the world. So the more we're talking about it, the better.
Yes, the more we're talking about it, the more we talk about it, that it's not fixed. It's not like you're set in stone. Like it's constantly evolving and changing for the better, if you choose so. Very true. Thank you. Nicole says trust. All right, one more word. Trust. Intention of the week. All right, you guys. Thank you very much for contributing so freely, for sharing your techniques and your strategies and your secrets with us, and your story, Joe. And yes, keep sharing the positive focus and help people shift. I think that's what's needed most right now.
Yes, spread the light. Spread the light.
Yes, very good. Thank you, Joe. All right, I'll see you on, yes, realize we're all in the same boat, says Nicole. And Harry says flexibility is mine. Okay, let's put the last one, Harry. Flexibility. It's interesting when you analyze some of these shows, when there's various people on the call, we're always talking about the same things, but it's always a little bit with different nuances and angles, and that's what makes it so interesting. And this also again shows me how we're all one and we're all connected. That's really, really interesting. All right, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
For sharing, and you guys for engaging. You've been a great audience, and I'll see you again on Wednesday for the next show. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.